Nearly enough, yeah.
Tell them they're all gadding about in the kitchen.
Come on. See? Strict.
Bums on seats, please. Come on.
Right, good evening. If you do have a mobile, if you'd like to put it on silent, please, thank you. Right, huge welcome to another new speaker to us, Joanne Hafford, with her presentation, Born Free. Jo highlights the importance of retaining individuality amidst the gentle and steady pressure to think and act increasingly more collectively. She identifies how this indoctrination can occur and which quarters, and offers some solutions for those interested in individuality in these rather strange times. Perhaps a quote from Friedrich Nietzsche may be appropriate here. The individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. If you try it, you will be lonely, often, and sometimes frightened. But no price is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself. Please welcome Joanne Hafford.
So I'm Jo. So good evening, everyone. Thank you for sharing your evening with me. Welcome. Tonight, what Rob said, it's slightly different. I'm very open and honest, so may as well start as I mean to go on. What Rob said is slightly different. I'm not really going to be going into too much detail about, those on high that are, it's really thrown me, what he said. Basically, I'm here tonight to talk about us as individuals, our importance, that we matter, and how we can help ourselves, basically. So freedom, it is a beautiful word and it is a beautiful concept, but unfortunately we're not free, and that is for many reasons. I'd just like to, if I can just come to my board. So when you look at this board, things you think, what a nutter. It's saying things like, you are important, you matter, you're special, I care about you, and how can I help? Tonight, for me, being here with you is how I can help. If I can help, if I can make a difference, however large or small, then I have done my job. So what I have wrote there is how I feel about every individual here. It doesn't matter that I don't know you, I still respect you. A lot of people in this world would rather that I stood on their face than I said this to them. Has anybody ever experienced anything like that? If somebody said something nice to you, how do you react? How do you feel? A lot of people, they cannot embrace niceness, basically, kindness. And that is what I try and offer. A year ago now, I actually embarked on my year of random acts of kindness, which only lasted 15 days because I couldn't take it anymore because people were just so negative, and it was just really hard to comprehend why people, they couldn't accept your kindness. So does anybody want to share that when they read something like this, how that makes them feel? Is that, when somebody offers something like that, is that hard to take on board?
It is quite hard to take up, because the message you get from day to day from those on high is that you're nothing. You're basically told that you're nothing. You don't matter. You're just a little piece. You should shut up and pay your taxes and do as you're told.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're told that you're nothing, basically, by the media and the official established powers that be.
Yeah. And me sort of getting my words muddled at the beginning, but what I was trying to say is I'm kind of bringing it closer to home, because I know the talks here, it's normally out there. You know, your meaty talks about what's going on in the world, but this is trying to bring it back and focus on us as individuals and focus on how we can help ourselves, basically. And you're right, that does occur. That also occurs in work, with family and friends, with your partner. Everybody puts pressure on. So a lot of you are probably familiar with Abraham Harold Maslow. It's absolutely fine if this information is familiar to you, because if it's familiar to you but you're not doing anything about it, then really you're the same as somebody who's never heard of this guy and what he stands for. And I'm here tonight to reinforce this. So who is familiar with Maslow and the hierarchy of needs? Okay. So basically, this is generally a 5-tier, and it's generally placed within a triangle. So we've got our basic needs. So can everybody see this?
You'll have to read it out, I think.
Right, okay.
You just read it all out.
So it's basically a theory of motivation. So what we move in life, we move towards self-actualization, which is being a fully functioning individual. And what we need for that is things like the physiology side, which is like you know, your basic needs, which is to breathe. We need to sleep. We need to eat. And then we've got our safety aspect. So things like having a home, having a shelter, employment, money, and being part of a group. That social aspect. Then we've got love and belonging. So intimacy and our relationships with friends or a partner, and acceptance and respect. And then next we've got esteem, our own self-esteem and confidence through achievements and encouragement from others. And then moving up to the self-actualization, like the fully functioning person, where you can accept yourself and you are creative and problem solving and your personal growth. Now, as we move up, sometimes we fall back down again because of circumstances in life. And although we may be motivated to reach these things, sometimes in a positive way, but sometimes it can be negative. So while we may, if we were swimming, the natural thing was when we need to take air, we'd come up for air. But even as a fully functioning person, recognising, we have morality there, and recognising right from wrong, if we fall on hard times, then we may steal for food, things like that. So although it's supposed to be although it's supposed to be a positive thing, it's also there also can be negative aspects to it as well. And there's also this stood for a long time, but there's also an extension of the hierarchy of needs, which is cognitive. So the need for meaning and understanding, curiosity, the aesthetic and the transcendence. So obviously people within the East that move towards enlightenment, but also the aspect of helping others. It's very spiritual, and it's very, very rewarding. If you think about when you do something nice for somebody, and if you are having a bad day and you're a little unkind to someone, if you think about the difference that you feel when you do something nice and when you do something that isn't so nice, the difference is huge. And when we do nice things, it is such a powerful feeling, and that is why I cannot understand why so many people choose negativity, or they cannot embrace a nice word, or they cannot give a nice word either. So from the time of our birth, there are conditions placed on us. That can be in the workplace, from our family, friends, and, as I said, partners also. So there's been all sorts of things happen for me. So I would like to share that with you. So conditions of worth, which some of you might be familiar with. So which is conditions that we believe that we need to meet in order to be accepted and loved. And generally speaking, we do bend and shape ourselves to fit in to different circumstances and fit in with people that matter, that can help us. Also we have introjects. So that is, we take on board the beliefs and the behaviours of other people that matter to us, that we're influenced by. So Carl Ransom Rogers, who I'm very, very grateful to, because my background in counselling, it was so fascinating, and it helped me learn so much about myself and other people and relationships with other people. So he put forward his 19 propositions with regards to behaviour and personality. And from this grew the conditions of worth and introjects. So when I was at school, when I was younger, I was bullied because I didn't have a dad around. And in those days, it was, whereas now it is the norm. But then it wasn't. I don't remember anybody else that didn't have a father around. So I was looked upon and treated differently, both by other children, as well as teachers. So then I felt that I had to be a certain way to try and fit in. I am quite opinionated. I have a lot of opinions, and from that's another reason that people find that quite threatening, and that can be another reason why it's hard to fit in as well. So then sometimes you tend to, again, bend and shape yourself into a different person to fit in, basically. I've been asked so many times why I can't be like other people. I've always been different. I've always felt, I am an individual, and I can't go along, from being little, that I can't go along with what others want me to go along with. So for many years, I've tended to be quite isolated in certain situations. And just to go back to the helping people, it has been questioned, why help other people? Well, because it's necessary, and if I help somebody at one point, at some time, I may need help, and I would like to think that somebody will be there for me to help me. Also, you never know what your potential is as an individual. And I started to learn the guitar. I was going to do a song later, but my capo seems to have disappeared into the ether. So that's now not possible, I'm sorry. But I started to learn guitar, and then I've always loved writing, so I started to write, and then eventually I made an album. I was very, very lucky for Ken Nicol, who is quite, he's very respected in the folk world, and he played on my album and he recorded it for me. So about the individuality and why it's important and not to lose yourself, is because you never know what your potential is. And for me, it doesn't matter what age you are, if there's something that you want to do, you should give it a go. Because I don't believe that when people say, like, learning a language, that it's easier when you're younger. I don't believe that. I believe that if your will is strong, that you can achieve anything that you want to achieve, no matter the age. So when I was younger, so things that I did was I listened to other people's choice of music, so I did things like that to fit in. With two relationships that I had, one, I never liked football, and then I started watching football. I'm quite an avid fan of Liverpool. Not anymore, that went. When he went, that went. So that was an interject. And just, I just wonder, can anybody else relate to anything like that? Can you give some examples of how you have actually become somebody else? You've kind of lost your way, you've lost your individuality.